Imagine holding a tiny clay seal impression, no bigger than a coin, yet bearing the unmistakable inscription of Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah, though small. This unassuming artifact is a direct link to a real king mentioned in the Bible, providing a tangible connection between ancient texts and historical reality. For centuries, Hezekiah's story was known mainly through Scripture, but this seal proves he once lived, ruled, and left his mark in the heart of Jerusalem. This tiny bulla was pressed into soft clay to seal important documents, serving as a guarantee of authenticity and authority, much like a modern signature or stamp. Unlike large stone monuments meant to glorify kings to the public, seals were practical and intimate, used within the administrative core of the kingdom to control communication and assert power. The survival of such a small object after thousands of years is a testament to the preservation power of the earth and the careful work of archaeologists. But what if this tiny impression reveals far more than just a name? What if it tells us that the kingdom of Judah was not a loosely connected tribal confederation, but a sophisticated state with centralized authority, bureaucratic management, and international ambitions? Could this single artifact challenge modern skepticism about the historical accuracy of the Bible? Many scholars have doubted the existence of a Davidic kingdom capable of supporting such administrative complexity. Yet this seal impression stands as a concrete piece of evidence that Judah had kings who ruled with authority and maintained an organized government. It invites us to reconsider the broader historical context of ancient Israel and Judah, and the ways archaeology can illuminate or correct our understanding of biblical history. To ensure full transparency, please note that this video uses AI-generated visuals to bring history to life, faith, and facts, where ancient mysteries meet modern exploration. Our thesis: King Hezekiah's seal impression is a rare, archaeological gem, a literal fingerprint from the past that authenticates the biblical record of his reign. Discovered in Jerusalem's ancient strata, this clay bulla reveals not just a royal name, but the existence of a functioning government that relied on seals, scribes, and official correspondence to govern the kingdom of Judah. It is an artifact that embodies political power, religious symbolism, and administrative control. The seal impression is much more than a name stamped into clay. It represents a document's official validation within a royal bureaucracy. In an age when written documents were fragile and rarely preserved, seal impressions like this one are among the few surviving traces of ancient governance. They confirm that Judah operated a system of official communication and record-keeping, essential for managing a kingdom's complex social, religious, and military affairs. The inscription on the seal explicitly identifies Hezekiah as king of Judah, underscoring his legitimate claim to the throne and confirming his place in the Davidic dynasty. This level of precision in naming and titling provides direct archaeological support to biblical accounts, countering arguments that these kings were fabricated centuries later. Instead, the seal grounds Hezekiah firmly in historical reality. Furthermore, the royal iconography engraved on the seal, the two-winged sun disk and ankh-like symbols, connects Judah's monarchy with wider ancient Near Eastern religious and political imagery, suggesting that Hezekiah's reign was not isolated but engaged with contemporary cultural and imperial influences. This shows a kingdom asserting its identity amid powerful neighbors while maintaining its theological distinctiveness. Later in this episode, we'll explore the dramatic story of how this invaluable artifact surfaced from the antiquities black market, narrowly escaping loss forever. This narrative highlights the precariousness of biblical archaeology and the dedicated efforts needed to preserve history for future generations. Together, this seal impression forms a compelling piece of the puzzle that confirms Judah's monarchy as a real historical institution with political and religious depth. The skeptics, skeptics, have long questioned the historicity of the Davidic monarchy, arguing that the biblical accounts exaggerate or mythologize Judah's kings. They point to the scarcity of contemporary inscriptions or artifacts explicitly naming rulers like David or Hezekiah. suggesting that these figures were later ideological creations rather than historical kings. This skepticism gained traction in the 20th century alongside archaeological discoveries that seemed to show Jerusalem as a small, insignificant town during the Iron Age. Many scholars contended that the biblical narrative was a retrospective glorification by Judah's later scribes, designed to bolster national identity under exile or foreign rule. Without direct archaeological evidence, critics viewed the monarchy as more literary than factual, casting doubt on the political and religious reforms attributed to kings like Hezekiah. The discovery of King Hezekiah's seal impression, however, challenges these assumptions head-on. Found within Jerusalem's archaeological layers dating to the late 8th century BC. The bulla bears the inscription belonging to Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah, in Paleo-Hebrew script that matches the period style. This direct naming of a monarch within his capital city disrupts the skeptical narrative of invention. Moreover, the seal's iconography, a two-winged sun disk flanked by ankh-like symbols, Judah's monarchy into the broader political-religious milieu of the ancient Near East, particularly Egypt and Assyria. Such symbols were used deliberately to communicate royal power and divine favor, indicating that Hezekiah's reign was embedded within real international dynamics, not myth. Faced with this evidence, skeptics must either accept the existence of a historically attested King Hezekiah, or explain how a convincing royal seal bearing his name emerged in Jerusalem's archaeological context. Visualize the seal impression, a small circular piece of baked clay with slightly irregular edges, its surface bearing crisp Hebrew letters still legible after nearly 3,000 years. The name Hezekiah is carved in block script just a few millimeters tall, showing remarkable craftsmanship given the small scale. The wings spread symmetrically on either side of a sun disk, while ankh-like symbols frame the central motif, suggesting protection and life, an emblem of royal authority and divine sanction. This seal impression was found in a refuse dump near Jerusalem's Offal, an area associated with the city's administrative center and royal palace complex. Such a location is typical for discarded seal impressions, as broken or expired seals were commonly thrown away after use. The archaeological context lends authenticity and a precise dating to the artifact, linking it directly to the late 8th century BC. Beyond the seal itself, a wealth of archaeological evidence supports the biblical portrayal of Hezekiah's reign. Notable are the extensive fortifications surrounding Jerusalem, the famed Siloam tunnel that channeled water into the city during siege, and storage jars stamped with official seals. These artifacts collectively paint a picture of a kingdom preparing for Assyrian invasion and actively engaged in centralizing its religious and political institutions. The seal impression is thus more than a relic. It is a window into Judah's political and religious life, demonstrating a sophisticated administration with scribes, officials, and royal authority functioning in Jerusalem. It confirms that Hezekiah's kingdom was neither small nor fragmented, but a real political entity capable of complex governance. The precision and preservation of the seal speak to the importance of official documentation in maintaining the king's rule and coordinating the kingdom's response to both internal reforms and external threats. Contextual proof: Hezekiah's reign is among the most significant in Judah's history, marked by religious reform, military resistance, and efforts to centralize worship in Jerusalem. The biblical narrative describes his bold stand against the Assyrian Empire, including the miraculous deliverance of Jerusalem from siege, and his campaign to eliminate idolatry and reinstate exclusive worship of Yahweh. Before the discovery of the seal, critics questioned whether Hezekiah was a historical figure or simply a theological construct. The seal's inscription, however, firmly places him within the historical record, bridging the gap between biblical text and archaeological reality. If this small piece of clay can confirm the existence and authority of one king, then it invites a reconsideration of the other kings chronicled in the Bible. It suggests that the biblical narrative may reflect actual historical events rather than later myth-making or political propaganda. The seal's near disappearance into the antiquities black market highlights the precarious nature of biblical archaeology, where critical evidence can be lost forever through illicit trade. Its recovery and authentication demonstrate the importance of scholarly vigilance and international cooperation to preserve history. Combined with fortifications, tunnels, and inscriptions, Hezekiah's seal solidifies Judah's status as a significant Iron Age kingdom ruled by historically verifiable kings, whose political and religious reforms shaped the course of biblical history. Conclusion: Hezekiah's seal impression is a small artifact with an outsized impact on our understanding of ancient Judah and the historicity of the Bible. It transforms a figure once known only from Scripture into a documented ruler, leaving behind physical evidence of his reign and authority. The seal's near loss to the black market serves as a cautionary tale about the fragility of archaeological heritage and the ever-present threat posed by illicit antiquities trading. Its survival is a victory for historical truth, providing scholars and believers alike with a direct link to a biblical king. This artifact confirms that the biblical narrative about Judah's monarchy is rooted not in myth, but in genuine history and governance, underscoring the Bible's value as an archaeological resource. To ensure full transparency, please note that this video uses AI-generated visuals to bring history to life. If you found this deep dive compelling, remember that faith in facts exists to dismantle skepticism through evidence-based exploration, demonstrating that the Bible stands as the most archaeologically confirmed book in human history. To explore the full breadths of these discoveries, watch our documentary series, Kings and Kingdoms: The Davidic Dynasty Unveiled, where the story of Judah's kings is told through a convergence of text, artifact, and excavation. If you want to support this work, please hit like, subscribe for weekly evidence updates, and share this video with one skeptic you know. Together, we continue uncovering the truth hidden beneath the sands of time.